This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook at audiblepodcast.com/totallyrad. Today on TRS, we talk about the new Bruce Willis movie, Red. There are other people in it, too.
So yesterday you saw us talk about the comic book Red. Today in movies, we're talking about the movie Red. So Red stands for Retired Extremely Dangerous, which best describes the character portrayed by Bruce Willis in this movie. And it opens on him flirting with a customer service agent played by Mary Louise Parker. And basically the two of them have to escape assassination attempts. And have to put his old team back together to do so. That's played by Morgan Freeman, John Malkovich, and Helen Mirren. So, Alex.
Yes.
Fan of the comic book Red, as we saw yesterday.
Yes.
But feel free to watch that to see more in-depth discussion on that.
I get depth.
What did you think of the movie Red?
Well, I was sort of surprised reading the comic afterwards of sort of how towards the funny slapsticky the movie went, whereas the comic book was sort of, the Keystone Cops of the CIA were sort of in effect, but yet it was very violent and the character himself was not very funny.
Yeah. The movie is a bit an action comedy.
An action comedy, most
comedy
definitely.
forefront,
Yeah.
at the forefront.
But I will tell you, this is not a great movie by any stretch, but I had a blast. It's one of those movies that I was like, wow, that was really fun front to back. John Malkovich can do no wrong. Malkovich, whatever, can do no wrong. He is freaking hysterical in this movie. But, the first sort of major fight moment, I was very sort of like, ooh, that's not very good. That's not very well shot. I couldn't really tell what was happening. Just sort of blah, 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 and then everybody was dead. You know what I mean? Whereas I felt like I was really excited, especially from some of the previews with him, like stepping out of the cop car and stuff. And there are moments like that that are very much like how they get the fight to happen is clever. You know what I mean? But overall, I thought it was funny. I thought it was exciting. I was in for the ride. I thought that the story was actually more intricate than I thought it would be. There are some really funny moments, like when Ernest Borgnine was like, yeah, did you see that other guy come in here? He's like, yeah. And he just looks at him and goes, he looked tough too. And it was like, And then the next thing you see, it's like, no reason for him to be fighting the guy, but it's like, you can't not, he can't not do that.
Right.
So there were moments like that that I was like, joy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Jeffrey!
I'll agree with you that John Malkovich is very funny in this film and a welcome comic performance. Just his interesting take on lines draws laughter.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I felt like the movie didn't go far enough into the comic realm. I felt like...
You mean comic as in comedy?
Or
yes,
comic is in
as the humor. I didn't think they mined enough humor. I was very bummed when we learned about this at Comic-Con because I was such a huge fan of the comic, as we talked about yesterday, and I thought it could have made a really awesome, like Taken or like those movies, really dark, awesome action film with an older guy. Could have been cool. They decided to go a different direction and add in all these other characters. And that's fine, but I wish they had gone all the way. I felt like there were large stretches of this film that weren't funny, and that there's like banter between Bruce Willis and Mary Louise Watson Parker, I like to call her. Those didn't really, they kind of were clunky, and she behaved in odd ways that didn't seem plausible, and if it had been all the way to a fun, over-the-top comedy, I would have enjoyed the film a lot more. I felt like it straddled the fence too much and tried to be a little bit of a serious action movie in certain moments, and it was the servant of two masters and the master of no
servants. Interesting.
If I had to quantify my feelings of the movie, I would have to say I didn't like it.
Ooh.
But there are things I liked about it.
I don't have to quantify the thing.
I can just talk to you about details.
Yeah.
I actually thought that I had a lot of fun with the action scenes in the movie. I thought they were very whimsical. They were playful. Two words that mean the same thing. So there you go. And clever. The action scenes were clever, and actually the way we get from moment to moment in the movie, there's a cleverness to it, and I really applaud the director for that, and the screenplay. I thought it had a really good screenplay, but the dialogue within that screenplay I didn't love so much.
Most of the screenplay's dialogue.
Well, there's a lot of other things.
Structurally, you liked it.
Not just structurally, but like the scenes were great ideas and how the scenes happened, and there's a lot more to screenplay than just the dialogue, you know. And that I thought was really clever and a great take, because I do feel like a straight ahead telling of the comic book is something that we've seen. You know, we have movies like that. We just referenced Taken and the Bourne movies, and just in general, I felt like that's a story we've seen.
Yeah.
But this is I love the idea of this being an adaptation. I think more adaptations could be like this.
Yeah, where they
and
sort of use it as a jumping off point.
It's a real distinct take on the material, and I like the ideas behind everything, but the comedy to me felt like, no offense to anyone, but old people humor. Like, it all felt like a hoot and knee slappers. Like, the jokes were like, my parents would laugh at that. No offense, mom and dad, but like, and there were some older people in the audience that I felt
hooting.
they were hooting.
And slapping their knees.
Yeah.
Hoot, hoot.
So
Oh, and that was the owls of Gahoo.
Yeah.
right. So I was not.
I was very
Interesting.
impressed that even Retired Extremely Dangerous was an invention of the film. Like,
Right.
that seems like such an obvious thing in retrospect, but there's really very little that was. It was a bald action guy who works at the CIA.
Yeah.
The title.
Who retired and talking
and
to
a little
the
bit of a
lady.
relationship with the customer service lady.
I mean, the fact that there was someone he talked to on the phone, but she wasn't a customer service lady in the comic,
Yeah.
and there was no romance at all in their relationship.
No, I know. That's what I thought. That was really clever of them to
Add in, spice it up,
and to
juice it up.
to tap into things that were just suggested in the comic,
Yeah.
or not even suggested at all.
I think it's a fun one to watch. I mean, I think you can kind of have a mindless Sunday afternoon watching this movie and kind of seeing shit blow up.
It's not a bad movie at all. It's just, I felt like the potential was there, especially with this cast.
Well,
you could have had so much more fun with these. It could have been. Oh, I'm not thinking of a good movie to
Cocoon.
But there it could have been, each of these characters has a unique
Skill,
ability,
yeah,
and
like a skill
it's
set,
such a
yeah.
fun play. And their plan wasn't particularly interesting, and the
Yeah.
execution of that plan wasn't particularly interesting. And it was great to have all these awesome actors together, but it wasn't greater than the sum of its parts.
I think it would have been even. They couldn't have done the love story this way, but the reason why the comic theoretically is cool is because how old the guy is, and I don't
Yeah.
think Bruce Willis
Is old enough.
Yeah. The other actors are Morgan Freeman and
It'd have
like
been if it had been like Clint Eastwood.
yeah, if it
Yeah.
had been Clint Eastwood, and maybe they didn't do a love interest, if they had done a friendship with
Yeah.
a younger person.
Or
Yeah,
like
like
a
a
mentor
father-daughter
thing,
thing.
Yeah. That
Interesting.
might have been a way into
Maybe.
to my heart. But
Maybe,
do you
we'll
think,
see.
now, how do you guys feel about Bruce Willis?
I
now?
like Bruce Willis.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He feels so humorless now. I want moonlighting Bruce Willis. I want Die Hard Bruce, like first two Die Hard Bruce Willis,
What?
You know what I mean?
One
Like,
in 3 Die Hard Bruce Willis.
Whatever.
You meant not live free or Die
early
Hard.
Bruce.
Yeah.
When he didn't take himself so darn seriously.
Yeah.
I said darn like a who.
Well, that is what he does in this movie. I mean, he is playing
Yeah.
it for laughs.
No, he's not.
But he's playing it straight.
He's
Too straight.
McGruff, Mr. McGruff, the crime dog.
Yeah.
It's an interesting point, actually. I haven't thought about that about Bruce Willis. Anyway.
I haven't thought about Bruce Willis, to be honest.
I think Bruce Willis.
I like Bruce Willis, but
Moonlighting Days, very funny guy.
My fear for Bruce is Sylvester Stallone was who he was for a really long time. And one day, I went to the video store and there was a poster for a Sylvester Stallone movie that I had never heard of before because it had gone
Stop
straight
or
to
My
video.
Mom Will Shoot.
No, I was so into him then. It was Eye for an Eye or something, or it was a mob movie. And literally, it was the day before he was in a movie in the theaters that maybe just didn't perform that well. But like, I don't know what transition there, and I fear Bruce Willis may enter, and he's really kept himself afloat somehow. But
Yeah.
interesting.
anyway,
Interesting.
there you go.
Good luck,
Red
Bruce.
in theaters tomorrow. In theaters.
Jeffrey, audible.com.
I am thrilled that we are finally being sponsored by Audible.com because it's a service that I've been using for a long time, and I would love to recommend it to people wholeheartedly.
What is it?
As you know, I love to run and run a lot, and I don't like to listen to music when I run. I listen to audiobooks. Audible.com is the world's largest online repository of audiobooks. They have like over 75,000 titles in every category you could possibly imagine. I just finished listening to The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo on Audible.
Stieg Larsson or whatever?
Yes, awesome. The name of the reader just jumped out of my head because it was right there and now it's gone.
Oh.
But he's fantastic. But that's not the book I want to recommend. The book I want to recommend is A Game of Thrones, which, if you're excited about the HBO series, Dotrice is the last name of the guy who reads that book. He is friggin' amazing. It's an amazing book. One of the best audiobooks you can possibly. It's on Audible, and you can get it for free. You can get an Audible book for free by going to audiblepodcast.com/totallyrad to sign up.
Amazing. So remember, Extra Life is coming up this weekend, right? Oh God, I gotta get my caffeine fix started.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Welcome.
We're gonna be up for 24 hours playing video games.
Playing video games, board games,
playing on a freaking
Surface. Or Surf-I. I wonder if they talk to each other and we could do like
Surface to
2-on-2,
Surface?
like Battleship.
That would be amazing.
Amazing. I'm making it all up.
We're gonna find out.
Watch the live stream, tinyurl.com/extralifetrs.
That's where you go to donate.
We'll be twittering about it.
Where's the live stream gonna be?
I mean, it'll probably be like ustream.com/extralifetrs.
Twitter, so follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Also, send in backgrounds. We're loving
Yes.
these backgrounds. You got to send in to fans at TotallyRadShow.com to get your background on our show.
And check out flickr.com/TotallyRadShow, right, Mike? For some of the previous backgrounds.
Indeed.
Amazing. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. What up?
New game segment coming up tomorrow. Don't miss Media Mashup.
Weird
Yeah,
that you would think of that movie.
right.
Mike, do you know the answer? Yeah. So weird that you would have chosen that movie, which isn't even that premise.
All right, good luck.
That forces them to kill.
Yeah.
They atone for their sins
Got
with
it.
a nun in prison.
Wait.
Who turns out to be a zombie.
Okay.
Wait, was that one? You've just gone through 2 items?
We went through 3.